It wasn't supposed to be like this. The Houston Astros lineup was the highest scoring offense. Big reason why the Astros had visions of erasing last year's playoff woes. But in game one, they ran into Kevin Brown. 16 strikeouts, one shy of the postseason record. He outdueled Randy Johnson at the big unit's own game. In a contest where runs were at a premium, the Padres turned to the big bat of their MVP, Greg Vaughn. Suddenly, the Astros found themselves in familiar playoff territory, down 1-0. Now the focus shifts to game two, and it doesn't get any easier for Houston. 17-game winner Andy Ashby looks to keep the Astros bats frustrated. Houston needs its offense to wake up or face the prospect of leaving the Dome a game away from extinction, with their playoff lives in jeopardy. Who will step up and be today's hero? Outside it is hot and humid, and inside they have been rocking the Dome here for the last few moments as Clyde Drexler, formerly of the Rockets, now the head coach at the University of Houston, threw out the ceremonial first pitch. It's game two of the National League Division Series. The Padres leading 1-0 over the Astros, and the matchup with Andy Ashby, a 17-game winner in the regular season, although he finished in a slump. And 19-game winner Shane Reynolds going for the Astros, and Reynolds was at his very best down the stretch. They won 9 of his last 11. He was 7-0. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. Welcome to our telecast. The Astros won 102 games this year and never had to face a must-win. This one is definitely a must-win for them. And, Joe, as Kevin Brown dominated them here on Tuesday, one aspect that is troubling for the Astros, Andy Ashby, when he is right, can be very similar to Kevin Brown.
Well, I think similar is the word there, John. I don't think anyone can pitch as well as Kevin Brown did on Tuesday. But Alan Ashby has similar stuff. And over the last couple of months, he struggled for a while because he had a hip flexor. Now he's healthy. They say he's at his top peak performance right now. So look for him to go out there and throw a very fine ball game as well.
All right. Now, Shane Reynolds was an ace for this ball club, overshadowed by the big unit, Randy Johnson, which will happen. But Shane Reynolds did his best pitching this year, and he goes against the Padres, who got a little bit of extra rest because of the television schedule. Took yesterday off to Tony Gwynn and Kilvio Veras, who were hurting here the other day, at that little extra recuperative time.
Well, that's a plus, and especially for Tony Gwynn, because, you know, he's got leg problems, and when you play on AstroTurf, you have to play 2 or 3 days in a row. It can catch up with you, so he's been able to rest it. And Tony Gwynn, as you know, they need him because he's a consistent hitter on this ball club. Greg Vaughn supplies the power, but they need Tony Gwynn to get on base.
All right. Another great matchup. A 19-game winner, Reynolds, against a 17-game winner in Ashby at the Dome. And Ashby trying to get back to his regular season form. Biggio, Bell, Gwynn. Game 2. It's for only 99 cents. The Astrodome. And the Astros in a must-win situation for the first time all year. Game 2 of this series. No team in a 5-game postseason series has ever lost the first 2 games at home and come back to win the series. It has happened 14 times over the years. So they're certainly bucking history if they lose this one to be able to come back and win the series. The Pepsi Padres batting order. Kilvio Veras leads off at second base. Steve Finley in center field. Tony Gwynn in right field with that Achilles tendon problem, but he had that recuperative period yesterday without a game. Ken Caminetti at third base hitting cleanup. Greg Vaughn, the 50 home run man who went deep here in game 1 for what proved to be the game-winning run. Wally Joyner back in the lineup at first base. Carlos Hernandez the catcher. Chris Gomez at short hitting 8th, and Andy Ashby is the pitcher. 17-9 for the year. On the mound for the Astros, a 19-game winner, Shane Reynolds.
And this guy has all the pitches, John, and when he has his control, I mean, he can be almost unhittable. We had a game a couple of years ago when he pitched against the Dodgers, and he had a no-hitter for about 6 or 7 innings, and we knew then that he was going to be, you know, an excellent pitcher. Has all the pitches, and again, it's just a matter of his control.
Shane Reynolds is 30 years of age, originally from Louisiana. That's his year-round home now here in Houston. Kilvio Veras leads it off. They kept Veras off the bases until he got hit by a pitch in the 9th inning here on Tuesday. He takes ball 1. We are underway.
His fastball will get around 90 miles an hour, maybe low 90s is going to be tops. That was 88, but he still has a good fastball because he has good movement on it.
And Larry Durker, his manager, longtime pitcher for the Astros himself, so he'll throw a cut fastball more than he used to in on the lefties, as well as that sinker, which will move down and away from the lefty. 2-1 the count as he catches the corner with that one. Gilvio Veras, the igniter for the Padres, even though he had injury problems down the stretch, finished with a .373 on base average, which is certainly acceptable for a leadoff man. I guess on the low end of being acceptable. The umpiring alignment for this one: Jeff Kellogg behind the plate, Gary Darling, Bob Davidson, Bruce Fremming around the infield from first to third, Angel Hernandez on the left field line, Ed Rapuano on the right field line after he worked the plate here on Tuesday. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count to Veras.
Splitter.
3-2. And he's got a good one. And Veras was able to lay off there. 3-2 the count. And the walk.
That's something that he rarely does. He doesn't walk very many people. Take a look at the defense. A little change behind the plate today. Eusebio is behind the plate. As you know, Osmus had the 2 hits off of Kevin Brown in game 1, but they're going with Eusebio tonight.
And there's nothing more to that than almost invariably this year, Eusebio was the catcher
when
for Shane Reynolds.
Yeah.
And Eusebio, as you see, is wearing mask cam. We're very appreciative of that fact. And he'll take you right down into the game occasionally with mask cam. Steve Finley, the hitter. Former Houston Astro. He takes a cold strike. By the way, Steve Finley is a very good friend by the name of Derek D'Acquisto in San Diego, 12 years of age, who is a great fan of Steve Finley and also Wayne Gretzky. And Derek is hospitalized right now, but looking in today. I want to just remember him to Derek. And we send along a lot of our best wishes to Derek D'Acquisto as well. 0-2 though, the count to Finley as we saw that last pitch coming in on mask cam.
And right out over the outside corner.
Finley did not have a very good season with the bat, hitting only .249, but he was much better against the right-handers and a horrible season against the lefties. That's a foul that will go out of play on the third base side. Veras, the runner at first base. Padres did not run a whole lot this year, but Veras had almost a third of their stolen bases with 24 as Tony Gwynn gets ready to bat next. Gwynn hits second on Tuesday against the lefty Randy Johnson, hitting third against the right-handed. You know, they'd had a game yesterday. The way Tony looked here after the game Tuesday, I don't know how effective he would have been or even if he would have played.
The one thing that he's contended the entire year is that his leg problems do not hinder his swing, and that's because he's an upper body hitter. He doesn't use his lower body to drive, so you know, he doesn't have the same platform that a lot of hitters have, and that's why he's been able to still hit well, even though he's not able to run well.
2 strikes the count to Finley. Nobody out. The first base side, that is foul. No play, foul ball. So Veras will have to go back to first base. Starting with Tony Gwynn, and we didn't used to be able to say that, but Tony has shown much more power the last 2-3 years than years previous. In fact, he had his best home run per at-bat ratio ever this year. Then after him, it's Caminetti and Greg Vaughn, and they get into the RBI guys. The one real big power hitter they have is that man, Greg Vaughn. Only 2 hitters on the entire ball club hit more than 16 home runs. That's a high foul, and this too will go back out of play. So Finley is giving Reynolds a workout here after falling behind in the count 0-2.
We were talking about Tony having more home runs per at-bat than ever before. And I think what Mark McGwire and Sosa did is really kind of contagious. I think a lot of guys hit more home runs than they ever hit. A lot of players' home run production was up.
Although, interestingly, home run production actually league-wide was not up even in an expansion year, which always before everything had gone up in expansion year. That's a half swing. Reynolds will go to first. Severus has been advanced in the play. And there is one away.
Well, he made a wise decision there. He looked at second base for a moment, but his only real play was at first base. Well, he made a good pitch finally, 0-2. Got the half swing to watch. He'll take a look at second, but no chance at second base, so he retires Finley at first base.
Here's Gwynn. A chance for the Padres to jump to a quick lead here.
And watch how he just kind of uses his upper body and his hands to hit the ball. His legs do not rotate. He doesn't use his hips a lot.
Deep into left center. Everett, the center field, is still going. Well, if we were outdoors, I would have said the wind must have got a hold of that one. The way he went after it.
If we're outdoors, that may have been a home run. I thought he hit that ball really well, and I thought it was going out.
I mean, did Alou lose that ball? Where was Moises in that play?
Now watch how see how he just used his hands and his upper body. And it appeared that Alou was going. They were going. Now Alou backs off when Everett continues to call it, and he kind of gets out of the way. The ball probably went a lot farther than Everett thought.
So 2 men are gone, and here is Ken Caminetti. He and Vaughn are the only big power hitters for the Padres. Caminetti had 29 home runs. Curveball high in the air, shallow left. Spires called off by Gutierrez, the shortstop. Vera stranded at second. Biggio, Spires, and Bell coming up. We'll be back.
Yeah.
No score last of the first inning. Craig Biggio will be leading it off here against Andy Ashby. Here's the Pepsi Astros batting order. It'll be Biggio leading it off at second base. And remember, the last 4 postseason games dating back to last year's series with Atlanta, the entire Astros team has just been shut down. Last year, Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz, and now the first game this year, Kevin Brown. So we'll see today. Biggio, Spires at third, Bell in right. Bagwell at first, hitting cleanup. Alou in left, Everett in center. Eusebio, the only change from Tuesday's lineup, he's the catcher rather than Ausmus. Gutierrez at short, and Shane Reynolds the pitcher hitting ninth. And on the mound for the Padres, a guy looked like a Cy Young candidate until mid-August. He was the first man to win his 16th game in the league, but he only won one more time after that. Here's Andy Ashby, 4th in the league in wins.
And the problem was an injury to his hip. He just could not drive, and he got a lot of pitches up. He is a sinker ball pitcher like Kevin Brown, and he got a lot of balls up when he was having problems with his hip, and that accounted for the losses he had down the stretch.
Good fastball right on the outside corner, and it is 0-1 to Biggio.
And there you see he was able to bend, get the ball down. They say he threw the ball well in his last outing in preparation for today's start. When I talked to Dave Stewart, he said, hey, he's okay. You'll see a good game from him. So the Astros may have their work cut out for them again today.
That's followed on the right field line. Quickly, Biggio's behind in the count. 0-2. Now his velocity suffered, and the movement on his great sinker, which will move down and into a right-hander, also suffered in that stretch of futility which he encountered. So we'll keep a close eye on it for you. I've assigned Joe Morgan the task of really scouting him out here. Up the middle, base hit.
Well, Craig Biggio gets us started against Ashby, and we'll take a look at the defense behind Andy Ashby. And Ken Caminetti has won Gold Gloves, but he's hobbled over there at third base. He says he's really not moving well. He doesn't have a lot of range, and he's not even said he's just getting by over there. So he's playing with a lot of injuries right now. But he's a gamer.
Bill Spires. 273. Even though in the first couple of months he didn't hit at all this year. Hit over 300 for them last year. The other third baseman, the right-handed hitting third baseman, Sean Barry, had an outstanding year, hitting 314 for them. Together they make a pretty good platoon at third base. Biggio, always a threat to run, had 50 steals, was thrown out only 8 times. Left center field. That's into the alleyway. Biggio digging for third. Spires going for second. The throw easily beats the tag. Second and third and nobody out.
This entire offense works and revolves around Craig Biggio. When he gets on base, he gets a lot of fastballs for the second place hitter. Here's a fastball, middle of the plate, and Spires finds the gap in left center field. And the reason they get a lot of fastballs hitting behind Biggio is because he is a threat to steal. Good hustle by Spires to go into second base with a double as Biggio goes around the third base easily. But it's important that the Astros get off to a good start, John, because the pressure would start to build if they went through the order the first time without scoring any runs or getting any hits.
The infield stays back to Derek Bell. It's 0-1. Now Bell has not had a hit in postseason play as of yet. Biggio, who led off with a single, just got his second hit. So the other thing that you notice right away, Joe, is the little meeting that hitting coach Tommy McCraw had with them that we talked about earlier in terms of not getting out of their game as he thought they did on Tuesday, taking more pitches and taking more the other way. We've seen that already.
Yes.
Tommy said, hey, that's our game. A nice pitch. Big breaking ball. And it's 0-2 to Bell. Jeff Bagwell is on deck. Then Moises Alou. Now, these guys produce big numbers. Bell, 108 RBIs. Bagwell, 111. Alou, 124. And this is where the runs came in bunches. Camden with the pop-up, middle of the infield. Wally Jones. Well, he made some great pitches to Derek Bell there.
The only pitch I thought he had to hit was a curveball, but that fooled him so badly he buckled. But the curveball was a pitch that was up a little bit. It was a strike that he could have handled. As you said, that pitch, look, it moves right in on him, and there was a lot of movement on that pitch. That was the problem. The ball was really moving. It was diving towards Bell. See Tom McGraw talking to him, and I guarantee you he's telling him, well, that curveball you took was probably the best pitch you had to hit.
And that's one of the things that makes Ashby tough. I mean, you won't see that kind of a big dropping curve from, say, Kevin Brown. But with Ashby like Brown, you think of that sinker first and foremost. Now here's Bagwell. Second and third, 1 out. The infield remains back. Missing inside. 1 ball and no strikes. So that's a different situation already than what confronted Bell, who took strike 1.
Exactly. But here's the other part of this, John. They need to get off to a good start, but if they do not score any runs here, it could be devastating for this ball club. I mean, mentally they're going to be really hurt if they don't get some runs home as the infield is playing back.
Trying to go outside, ended up and in that time, and Bagwell didn't want to swing, but the ball glanced off the bat.
Let me tell you something. I've been watching this game so far. I'm not so sure that those pitches are supposed to be where the catcher's setting up, because twice now he's done this. And a lot of times they think that some of the hitters are peeking back or looking, and they will move to the outside, and the ball comes inside. They did that to Bell, and that pitch there to Bagwell was the same way, and they did it once when Biggio was up there.
Oh, that's interesting. 1-1 the count. And he did take that one outside.
But he moved out there late. See, I think that's what they're doing. See, when he moves out there early, he's giving them a chance to peek. And then when he jumps out there like that, obviously the ball is supposed to be out there.
2-1 the count.
If he moves early, I think he's trying to give them a false impression.
Second and third. 1 out. That'll get a run home. Garris Bagwell gets the RBI. Vigio scores, and Spires takes third. And the Astros have their first lead in 1998 in the postseason.
But that's very important, as we said, for them just to take a lead, just to get something started. Now watch the catcher. Watch him move now. I mean, he moves inside and the ball's outside. Just like the time before he moved outside and the ball's inside. Now watch where his pitch is. Now I don't think that he's supposed to move that far inside if he wants to pitch away. That one may have been a mistake, but I thought earlier he was moving quicker, and that was the signal for him to throw the ball inside. Because these guys will peak.
Runner at third, 2 down. Moises Alou, the RBI leader for the Astros. Sharp breaking ball, misses. 1 ball to no strikes. Alou only 4 for 20 lifetime against Ashby. As you see his great numbers for the year. Although he did not hit a home run after August 24th. 3 of Alou's 4 hits against Ashby have been home runs. Deep. Right field. Grainer's all the way back, and he's got it. Well, the Astros got the one. Could have been worse for Ashby. Vaughn is coming up. The Astros have 1 run more on the board already after 1 inning than they got in 8 innings against that man on Tuesday. Kevin Brown. And rarely has a pitcher been as overpowering, as dominant in any postseason game as Brown was on Tuesday.
Yeah, I have not seen, and I've seen a lot of pitchers in postseason play, but that was one of the best performances I've ever seen.
Greg Vaughn coming up now. Both managers have been toying in their minds with what to do with Game 3. First ball swinging Vaughn. And Spires got it. He's gotten Gwen Caminetti and Vaughn just like that. 3 of their biggest hitters in a row. I think had 3 pitches.
Yeah, all 3 of them swung the first pitch. You know, one of the things I still wonder about, and look, I'm not the manager, but I have to wonder, is Greg Vaughn is your most productive player on the ball club. He had drove in a home run yesterday, had 2 base hits. I mean, why would he hit 5th in this lineup instead of 3rd or 4th, where you're getting more at bats? I mean, I would want him to have more at bats just because he might hit the ball out of the ballpark. He hit 50 home runs, and he's hitting 5th on the ball club. You made the point, which makes a little sense, is that he didn't hit as well with men in scoring position, but he still drove in over 100 runs.
1 strike to Joyner, and strike 2. Now, did you say my point made little sense or
no, I said
a little sense?
Your point. Let me put it this way. I observed your point. I took it into consideration, right. But I still think he should be hitting 3rd or 4th on this ball club.
2 strikes to count. Up and in from Mascam. Being worn by Tony Eusebio, the Astros catcher today. 1 and 2 to Joyner.
Yeah, it made a little sense, you know.
Now, let me just get that straight, what you're saying here. Oh, there's the forkball. Struck him out. And Wally Joyner made little contact on that one.
Since they hit the first pitch of the inning, they hit 3 pitches in a row. He decided to take 1 so he fell behind in the count. Then Reynolds made a good pitch to go 0-2, and then that last pitch is just nasty. I mean, the bottom fell out of that splitter. And a lot of times, you know, you as a hitter, you say, well, he's going to waste 1. Well, he didn't waste anything. That was a beautiful pitch.
He wasted Joyner.
Yeah.
Carlos Hernandez up the middle. Base hit.
And everybody's happy. First pitch.
Well, you know, Durker made the point because of Reynolds' split-fingered pitch, the forkball. A lot of guys will go up there very aggressive in that first or second pitch so that they don't get behind in the count and be subject to that split-fingered pitch.
Well, if he throws your first pitch fastball in the middle of the plate, you should hit it anyway. But you're right. You do not want to fall behind so that you become like Joyner and get wasted.
So you like my little
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
2 down, Hernandez at first. Chris Gomez the hitter now. I was beginning to think, I'm glad that Houston finally scored, Joe. Nothing against the Padres, but
no.
Because I started to think maybe these teams in Texas just can't hit. I mean, the Texas Rangers got a 1 run in 2 games in New York.
and they were one of the best hitting teams in all of baseball. And the Astros, the highest scoring team in the National League, they couldn't score.
You kept telling me, oh, man, these Texas teams, they can hit, brother.
Well, I thought so.
Well, I watched 2 nights in New York. I didn't see any hitting.
Well, you're right, but I didn't see any hitting on the Yankee side either.
I mean,
from the middle of the order anyway.
That's a tough league. You go to Yankee Stadium against the highest scoring team in Major League Baseball,
right,
and you hold them to 5 runs in their home park in 2 games, and you don't win either one of them?
Right, and your team is built around offense.
Fastball too high to Gomez. 2-1 the count. 2 down runner at first. Carlos Hernandez. 1-0. The Astros are leading.
Well, I was starting to think, well, maybe it's the big stage in New York, but I remember Gonzalez wearing them out a couple of years ago in the playoffs. And, here the Astros got off to a slow start last year with the Braves and never recovered. So maybe a little pressure here.
2 on the inside. Randy Johnson. Hey, I think Randy Johnson knows why Texas didn't score. I mean, the pitching just too tough.
Yeah.
I mean, the Yanks, we know they can score a lot of runs, great lineup up and down. But, every day, a top-notch starter out to the mound. 2-2, 2 down. Strike 3 call on the inside. Carl Everett coming up for Houston. 1-0. The Astros lead. I'm John Miller. That's Joe Morgan. You recognize Joe, of course. Now, they weren't hitting here. I was beginning to think these teams from Texas, they can't hit. But, Joe, they did make those adjustments that Tom McCraw was talking about.
Well, Tom talked about going the other way with these single ball pitchers, and they made the adjustments in the last inning. 4 of the 5 hitters went the other way. Craig Biggio goes the other way for a single. Spires goes the other way for a double. Bagwell drives in a run. Alou goes the other way. They were all trying to take to heart what Tommy McCraw had talked to them about. If you've been successful with your hitting guru, you listen to him when he tells you why you're struggling, and he felt like they were just trying to do too much with the ball yesterday.
Mac, they call him. Tom McCraw, one of the outstanding hitting gurus. And I'm tired of instructor, Joe.
Yeah, that's right.
Guru is the one. I'm going with that for now.
Okay, we'll go with guru. Guru, and no more home runs, big flies only. Yeah. If they hit a home run in the postseason, it's a big fly.
Here's Carl Everett. And that one spins in there from Ashby for a called strike. Everett, the switch hitter, 296 with 15 big flies this year. 76 ribeyes. 1 ball, 1 strike. I'm just going for cool, hip stuff from now on, Joe.
Maybe that's what baseball needs. A little more hip, you know what I mean?
Yeah. The old lingo is dead. 1 ball, 1 strike to Everett. Oh, man, got him swinging at some low cheese.
Well, let's take a look at him. He's chasing this cheese. Drops down, and Tom McCraw is really going to be upset swinging at a pitch like that.
1-2 the count. Don't fool with the hitting guru.
Yeah.
You look at him. He is not looking pleased, Joe.
Well, we had a shot of him, that inning after Derek Bell that tried to pull the first pitch, and he came back and sat down, and Tom was really kind of getting on him a little bit.
2-2. By the way, you might be saying, man, what is that guy chewing on? Tom McCraw. He is so tough. The hitting guru. That was a foul ball hit into the dugout. He caught it with his teeth and just started chewing it up. He's a tough guy, Joe.
Well, he was a tough guy.
You've got to be tough to be a guru. 2-2 the count. Trying a little slide piece there. 2-2 the count. What do you think so far?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Gary Matthews would appreciate a little slide piece. Yeah. Everett, then Eusebio and Gutierrez against Andy Ashby. We're in the second. The Astros lead 1-0. He's hanging tough here against Ashby. Ashby's shown him just about everything in the repertoire here. And one of the things that I like to talk about is something Billy Goodman told me my first year in pro baseball. He said, your first at bat, If you can see all of the pitchers in that first at bat, then you should have a good day, because you're not wasting any time learning anything later on.
Hard to short. Gomez. And there is one away. But that was an 8-pitch at bat for Everett. More Division Series baseball coverage tomorrow with a special edition of Baseball Tonight starting at 3:30 Eastern Time, 12:30 Pacific. Then the Cleveland Indians and Boston Red Sox moving to Fenway Park at 4 o'clock, 1 Pacific. Game 3 there. And tomorrow night, the Yankees move to Texas. The Rangers at the ballpark in Arlington hosted the Yankees. David Cohn will go for New York against Aaron Seeley. That'll be on NBC tomorrow.
Right.
And all of those games will be on ESPN Radio as well. Check your local listings. The games will go wherever you go because of ESPN Radio. Here is Eusebio. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 ball, 1 strike on the outside edge there. Painted the black.
Right on.
Cheese.
Eusebio leaning out there a little bit, and he doesn't get out of the way. I mean, this ball is not that far off the plate, but he freezes and he's not able to move out of the way. He just kind of turns his back. Well, I guess that is a little bit off the plate. Eusebio says easy for me to say, but it didn't look like he saw the ball as quickly as he should have.
Ricky Gutierrez now, runner at first, 1 out. We had the same thing here on Tuesday when Kilvio Barros got hit in the knee with a pitch. I mean, he never moved at all. Right through the middle, base hit. Eusebio stops at second. Well, they're going the other way. They're taking it through the middle. A whole different approach than we saw Tuesday.
Well, you're right. It's a sinker from Ashby, and he just drills it right back through the box. You know, what happens sometimes, John, when a guy is throwing as well as Kevin Brown was, he's throwing extra hard, you have a tendency to swing harder, and you have a tendency to try to pull the ball because you're swinging harder. But Ashby's not throwing as hard, plus they got the lesson from their guru, and now they're going back through the middle.
And here's the Astros, Shane Reynolds, 2 on, 1 out. Padres looking for the bunt. The ball bounced over the middle. Kilvio Barros right out of the glove for 1, 2, double play. Wow, a spectacular double play on what was almost a base hit. Ashby coming up. We go to the third. 1-0 Houston. You can break the rules, but you can't break them. That's the roof at the Astrodome. Cool. Astros 1, Padres 0 as we go to the top of the third. And Andy Ashby will lead it off. But what a double play started by Kilvio Barros.
Man, that was off. They actually faked him into this. Now watch the shortstop and the third baseman. They act like they're going to do the rotation play. The shortstop actually breaks. See, look at him. He's breaking, but he just goes back. Now he stops when they see that he's not going to bunt. The second baseman has started toward first base. I mean, they're really lucky that this ball was hit so that Barros could make a great play. You have to give him credit for making a great play, but he backhands it, flips it.
Now, how many times did you make a double play like that? I mean, without ever touching the ball with your bare hand.
In one game, or? Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. How many times on each game that you played did you make a play like that? Now, that was pretty slick.
That was real good.
That was hit.
Yeah.
Here's Andy Ashby. And Reynolds missing with the ball a little bit low. 1 ball and no strikes.
But one thing, John, you do have to have a small glove to be able to make a play like that. You have to be able to use your glove, you know, similar to your hand. It can't be a big, deep pocket. You can't make that play.
I mean, there's nothing that looks more cool than that kind of a play.
Right.
I mean, like, it made him look like a magician out there. Kilvio, you show me something, man. The curveball too high, apparently. 2-1 the count. it short. Gutierrez. Both throw, but Bagwell able to come up with it. And there's one away. When the Astros' second inning ended, Ashby came off the field, and here's what happened. Kevin Brown came over to him. Yeah. Apparently. And again, they have a lot of similarities in their styles. You know, Dave Stewart did something real interesting with Ashby during the spring, because Stu felt that he did not know how to pitch with his fastball.
Right.
And he had him go out in an exhibition game. He says, I want nothing but fastballs today. Only the fastball. He's got a lot of other stuff as well. So he threw nothing but fastballs, maybe 5 or 6 forkballs the whole game. And he won it and shut him down. And the net result of that was that Stu said to him after, he says, you threw nothing but a fastball, and look what happened. And so the confidence, knowing just what a good fastball he had, that he could win with just that if needs be.
Well, most of your good pitchers in the major leagues, that's what they do. They use their fastball a lot more than people realize. I mean, they talk about Greg Maddox's changeup, but his fastball is how he pitches. He pitches off of his fastball.
2 strikes to Veras. There it is, off the bat. Foul tip, strike 3. Looked in there anyway. Third strikeout for Shane Reynolds. 2 down, nobody on.
Well, it's just a good fastball, and he was probably looking for something else. As you mentioned, it's right down the middle anyway, even though he did not check his swing. And he becomes a third victim in 3 innings. 2 2/3.
2 down. Steve Finley on a check swing, hit one back to Reynolds his first time. He's 0 for 1. But Ashby would go out there and he'd throw his fastball. Then he thought, now let's see, I better go to the slider. Then I better go to the forkball. And it was showing up every pitch in his repertoire to every hitter. And often starting 1-0, 2-0, getting the 3-1 counts and that sort of thing, because he was throwing all that other stuff, not having the confidence in his fastball. It's a pretty good lesson, I think, that he helped Ashby find out for himself. Some good Socratic teaching methods there by Dave Stewart. Ooh. Cool.
Yeah, Socratic. That's exactly what I was thinking. But Dave Stewart, I mean, he has really made a big impact on the pitching staff here. And
high in the air. Everett in center. If it ever comes down, that's the inning. A dome scraper there by Finley. Top of the order for the Astros. It'll be Biggio, Spires, and Derek Bell. John Miller, Joe Morgan from the Astrodome. 1-0 the Astros lead, and here we go to the top of the order again. Biggio singled his first time. Spires and Bell to follow. 1-0. The Astros are on top. Biggio was a very intense sort. I mean, he's a thinking man's player, but very intense. Larry Durkin and Tom McCall both thought that he was a little, perhaps overly intense in that ball game on Tuesday, hence going down a couple of times swinging at pitches that they said, hey, he never swings at that high inside pitch. But he did on Tuesday.
Well, I saw him have maybe the worst game I ever saw him have on Sunday, because he made a mental mistake as well. And then the second worst came on Tuesday. So, but you know that Biggio is such a good player that he's going to bounce back. And so far today, he's already started. And he was wanting guys to relax a little bit more himself today. He knew that he was a little uptight. They had turned the music down. It's usually pretty loud in here before the game, and they turned it down for the playoffs. He went upstairs 5 levels up and turned the music up himself. And when I walked on the field today, it was blaring. And that was his way of helping to relax his buddies, his teammates. They weren't playing our kind of music, none of our kind of stuff.
No Beethoven,
no Beethoven, none of the symphony. Just the new stuff.
No John Paul and Ringo. 3-1 the count. 3-2. He thought it was a little low on the sinker.
I don't agree with him on that one. I thought that was a pretty good pitch, too. So, not that I get a vote here, but it looked like a pretty good pitch. Let's take a look here.
Well, I know Dwight Gooden would have thought that was a great pitch.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough pitch, but pretty good pitch.
And Jeff Kellogg may not have appreciated how he took about 3 steps toward first base like that.
Yeah, I would suggest if this one is in the same area that he take a hack at it.
You better be hacking.
Hey, that a boy.
He gets the walk. And Jeff Kellogg, no retribution there.
That's what I was saying, that a boy for Jeff, not that Bagwell Biggio took a walk.
After the game, Sports Center, don't miss it. And then tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, Game 2 of the Cubs and Atlanta. It'll be the 19-game winner Tappan against the 20-game winner Glavine on Fox. And then don't forget, right after the ball game, flip over to Sports Center on ESPN for full post-game coverage, interviews from Turner Field, and the insightful analysis. And then at midnight tonight, baseball tonight. I'm really getting into baseball tonight these days. They're really giving it the full Monty in their coverage. Don't forget also, if you're out and about tonight, ESPN Radio will have the Cubs and Braves as well. Wherever you go, the game will go with you. Let's say you go to the opera. Bring your Walkman. Nobody will be any the wiser. Bill Spires. He hit a double his first time into the alleyway in left center. Biggio at first. Muscles one in the right center. Finley on the run. Can't get to it. It ricochets away. Quinn's going to go have to chase it. Biggio will be held at third. And Biggio could not just start running at will there because he knows that his former teammate Finley is well capable of catching almost anything out there. Another double for Spires.
Well, Finley almost made a great catch. And you described this perfectly. He muscled this ball. He didn't hit it that well, but he hit it in the right area, and the ball bounces away. Now watch Tony Gwynn's going to his right. Now watch Tony. He can't just stop and turn around. He has to make a circle. But it was going to be a double anyway, but you see Tony Gwynn always hits the cutoff man. Good try there by Steve Finley.
Well, Spires is 3 for 6 in this series with 3 doubles. So here they are, set up beautifully again. Derek Bell still looking for his first hit in the postseason. Check swing. An appeal denied by Gary Darling, the first base umpire. And the Padres bullpen is busy already. The Astros have a chance now to lengthen their lead here. There's Joey Hamilton, a right-hander up in the bullpen. Ordinarily a starter. First in the bullpen for this series. Ground ball, long fly ball. Each to get a run home. 2-0 to Bell. Now this is different. The last time he fell immediately behind. Biggio at third. Spires at second. Nobody out. And now Dave Stewart's going to go out and talk to Ashby. I mean, this is the spot of this batting order where this game could get out of hand in a hurry.
Well, the one thing to remember, you have runners at second and third. I've always felt that a hitter should be, with no one out, a hitter should be thinking like there's a runner at second base. By that I mean Derek Bell should be trying to hit the ball the other way. Trying to get a base hit, of course, but if he hits the ball to the right side, not only will Biggio score, but Spires would go over to third base with less than 2 outs, so they could score 2 runs here with 2 ground balls to the right side or a ground ball to the right side and a fly ball. So it's not as important for him to get a base hit as it is to make sure he moves each runner 1 base. If he pulls the ball to shortstop, sure, Biggio is going to score from third, but Spires would have to remain at second.
Stu back to the dugout, and the Astrodome is rocking. Biggio at third, Spires at second. 2-0 to Derek Bell. Jeff Bagwell on deck.
Well, we saw Carl Everett swing 3-0 in the game the other day with no one on. I don't know if you let a guy swing 3-0 with Bagwell and a Lou coming up next, but we'll see how Larry Durkis plays this.
I'm having him take, Joe.
I would, too.
And it's 3-1. Oh, man, he should have swung.
I don't know. That ball had a lot of movement on it. It ended up in the middle of the plate, but I tell you what, that was a good moving fastball.
All right, so he didn't just groove a straight fastball.
No, he didn't throw the straight fastball.
3-1. He'll be ready to swing on this one, that's for sure. 3-2.
Well, he tried to pull that, but now that the count is 3-2, you forget about everything, just try to get a base hit. You don't necessarily still try to go to the right side.
Bruce Bochy, his pitching coach, Dave Stewart. Stu got his game face on. Andy Ashby. All kinds of trouble here in the third inning. He's trailing 1-0 already. 3-2 the count. Check swing foul.
Well, he came with a slider there, and I'm not so sure that Bell was prepared to handle that pitch.
Well, he fooled him badly with strike 2 the last time on a big curveball.
Well, you see Tom McGraw telling him to get the ball up, get it up. That one was up.
Second and third, nobody out.
That's what he was talking about.
Yeah, just the opposite. Slider down. Well, it's just getting worse and worse for Derek Bell. He's now stranded 6 base runners in these 2 games. 4 today. And still hitless in postseason play.
Well, he threw him a slider the pitch before. Now he comes with the curveball. And he said, I just told him not to swing at anything down. And see, there he is. He's talking to him again. But one thing I say, Derek Bell goes and sits by him after he goes up there and makes an out.
Help me, Guru.
Yeah.
Bagwell. 0-1, but he got an RBI with a ground out. Check swing. Called a strike. Singapore likes to have that low strike.
And all of a sudden, Ashby's ball is getting more movement on it, John, than it had at the beginning of this inning and last inning. A lot of movement there. And that's what you want from a sinker ball pitcher. And maybe it was just a little strong at the beginning, and maybe he's tiring a little bit, and sometimes when a sinker ball pitcher tires, the ball sinks a little better.
Base hit! Biggio scores, and Spires will also score. Jeff Bagwell delivers. 3-0 Astros.
Here is either a slider or yeah, it's a slider that doesn't do much. You see, that ball didn't sink at all. It was a slider or a cut fastball and up a little bit, and Bagwell ripped it up the middle. Now the Guru is happy. Yeah, he said, that's what I was talking about. Dave Stewart is not happy.
Well, it depends on which Guru you're talking about. Moises Alou, Bagwell at first. 2 runs in. Bagwell, who will steal a base if you don't keep an eye on him. He has 19 steals for the year. Well, that's got to be a big lift for Bagwell. I mean, until today, he had never driven in a run in a postseason game. And until that at bat, he was 1 for 17 in the postseason. Slowly to the right side. Phil Valdez actually used his hand that time to make the play. Number 2, Bagwell moving to second. Alou is 0 for 2.
Well, we talked to Bagwell before the ballgame, John. He was very relaxed. In fact, he was far more relaxed than I thought he would be. I thought he'd be a little bit upset and uptight, but he was relaxed. He said, hey, we just have to put it out of our mind and go get them. He said, we're a little better prepared now than we were when we faced the Braves last year. We're much better hitters. We're more experienced. And we know more about what it takes to win in this situation.
And I thought that was a revealing comment, but also Biggio said, hey, listen, is it unfair that they keep putting all the heat on us because we haven't had a hit yet. He said, hey, it's just a fact of life. Until we do what we're supposed to do, it's going to be a storm. Sometimes a guy, when he's feeling the heat, will get real defensive about it.
Right. No, you're right. But the one thing about the Killer Bees, they've always taken their share of the responsibility. Last year when they didn't do well, they said, hey, it's our fault. They were paid to do the job, and they didn't do it.
Carl Everett trying to pick Bagwell up. And the slider over the outside. 1-2. In the division series, the three of them, Biggio, Bell, and Bagwell, 0 for 10. Today already 2 for 5. A couple of runs scored, 3 batted in by Bagwell. Wild swing there by Everett, and Hernandez throws him out for the put-out. But 2 runs for Houston. And the Bees have been bad. 3-0 Houston after 3. Division series, Padres Astros. Padres lead 1-0, but the Astros lead this game 3-0. After he came in, Andy Ashby sat next to pitching coach Dave Stewart and had some words of advice for him. One simple way to explain how you beat the Astros is, well, you keep Biggio and Spires off the bases in front of the big guys. Well, that's not easy to do.
No, not when Biggio has been so consistent. Hit over 320 for the season, so I mean he's always going to get on base. I mean, you can't stop him. He's going to take some walks, and he's going to hit your other times.
And Spires has hit 2 doubles in this one, with Biggio on base each time. Here's Tony Gwynn. The biggest hitters coming up now for the Padres. Gwynn, Caminetti, and Vaughn. Joyner due 4th in the inning. So they're right in the meat of their order here to try and get back at Shane Reynolds. 3-0. Houston is leading. Quickly behind the count, 0-2. There's Caminetti on deck. Gwynn flied out deep into left center his first time. First ball swinging. And this is where that hitter starts to think, man, 0-2, he's going to throw him with a splitter.
Well, but Tony doesn't care about that. All Tony wants to do is make sure he gets a strike.
Got one there. Foul off the field line. Into the first row of the suit.
See, Tony can hit the splitter, he can hit the slider, he can hit the fast, he can hit anything. And he showed me yesterday, if you can hit Randy Johnson's slider that's about 5 inches off the plate and diving, then you can hit anything. I mean, that yesterday was just an unbelievable swing he took. And I talked to him before the game today, and he says he actually knew what he was doing. He don't know how he did it, but he knew what he was doing.
Going to the count to Gwynn. Fastball toward the middle. Off the middle of Biggio. And he recovers too late.
Yeah, and even a hobble Tony Gwynn is not going to be caught on that one. But every time that he runs like that, he hurts himself. He injures himself. They scored that in error very quickly. Well, he hits him right in the glove. He was going to his right, but if it's in the air like that, you have to catch it. And see, Tony, all he does is just swing with his upper body, and that's why he's such a fine hitter. And you see him hustling down the line, and then he pays the price for that infield, that error, beating that ball out.
Tony Gwynn, the 3rd player in the history of Major League Baseball to have 16 consecutive years where he hit better than 300. The batter, Ken Caminetti, takes ball 1. First ball swinging, he popped out to short in the first. Caminetti, MVP in the league 2 years ago. Came back strong in the second half last year after having to recover from surgery. Racked with injuries this year, still hit 29 home runs. There's a double play ball. They get along. Gutierrez has received a poor feed from Biggio, unable to complete the double play.
It's a good point, Johnny. It appeared that, well, you know, Gutierrez didn't get the ball out of his glove, but no, that was not a good feed. It didn't have enough on it. You know, watch Biggio. Watch how you're supposed to take this ball and then you backhand it, but you got to get something on it. Watch right here. Nothing on that throw. See, he's kind of reaching for it, gets him off balance. And actually, I don't think he would have gotten Caminiti anyway, the way the feed went. That is just, you have to get the ball to the second shortstop quicker than that. First and foremost, they waited on it, but that's what AstroTurf does. AstroTurf forces you sometimes to wait on a ground ball.
Greg Vaughn, the slugger is up there. 50 home runs. Now, Sosa, I think, had a little better support with the Cubs, but much like Sosa, Vaughn is the guy who picked this club up on his shoulders so many times offensively. What he did for them is what Sosa did for the Cubs.
And especially the first half, and that's basically when they won their division. They got way out in front. He was just unbelievable. But, I mean, you got to be pretty consistent to hit 50 home runs anyway. And the great thing for him, he said they were pulling so hard. He says the last 3 weeks he couldn't get it. And finally, on his last at-bat of the season, he hit a home run for his 50th home run. That's special.
Vaughn, who 2 years ago hit 41 homers, so we know that he's well capable of going deep. That was the splitter when he chased it. Strike 3.
You know, when you talk, you've made a point here, John, I think needs to be pointed out even further, and that is the splitter. And that is that hitters fear certain pitches from pitchers. You know, it's like the Randy Johnson slider, the Greg Maddux changeup, the Reynolds splitter. So what you do is when you get into the count where you figure they're going to throw that pitch, you start to look for it, and when you do that, you swing at a lot of bad pitches. You have to still, keep your perspective and keep the ball in the strike zone. You can hit a splitter if it's a strike, but most of the time they're not strikes. But if you fear a pitch from a pitcher, when he gets 2 strikes on you, you're really in trouble because you're going to chase it.
Well, I think you should have made that point about Gwynn. He's just still going to be looking for a strike.
That's right.
To hit.
Exactly, and that's the way. That's
Joyner. Caught by Biggio. He recovers nicely. So Biggio ends the inning after having a couple of real tough plays. 3-0, the Astros lead. Hey, Joe, look who's here. America's sweetheart, Mary Lou Retton.
And her daughter. Here's Craig Biggio. Now, let's watch how far he has to go for this ball. I mean, he goes all the way over here. Then he has to dive. Then he has to get up very quickly and make the throw. This is a tough play for second baseman. Now you have to get up very quickly and make the throw. He had a little luxury there in that Joyner's not one of the fastest runners. But look at that. I mean, that's the toughest part, making the catch and then getting up. Short throw, but nice play there by Biggio. That's the Craig Biggio we know and love. I mean, the other one is we've seen in the last couple of days has not played as well as he normally does.
Yeah. And he had a couple of plays in that inning. So he felt he owed the Astros one there.
Yeah, he made an error on Gwynn and then did not start the double play properly.
Eusebio, the hitter, 1 ball, 1 strike, facing Andy Ashby. Last of the 4th, 3-0. The Astros are leading. Deep down the right field line. Into the corner goes Gwynn. This one is foul. Man, he slugged that one.
I was in Yankee Stadium last night, John, and Scott Brocious hit a ball that looked like just a routine, maybe a gapper, a ball that's hit in line drive in the gap in right field. Went about 10 rows deep in Yankee Stadium right center field. I mean, the ball really carried. I was really surprised.
How about
that one was surprising.
How about this rookie the Yankees had?
Yeah, 27-year-old rookie.
Where have they been hiding him? Did he swing? No, says Gary Darling. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Shane Spencer. I read where the last 27, or the 27 he played, period, in the big leagues. He had 10 homers and 27 RBIs.
3 grand slams.
Right center. That one is up against the wall. Eusebio will pull in at second with a double. Well, they told us he likes the ball out of the way, get his arms extended.
Well, I tell you what, he had some pop on that one.
it there.
I mean, that ball really jumps off his bat right here. For the inside out of the ball, look at this. I mean, not a, your classic swing, but he drove it in the right center field and they could not run it down.
Now here's Ricky Gutierrez. I beg your pardon, Ricky. Single his first time. Eusebio at second. And he snaps one in there. 0-1 the count. The pitcher, Reynolds on deck. The Astros lead 3-0. The Padre bullpen is busy again. This time, Brian Bollinger, the right-hander, warming up. Bochy does not want to allow this ball game to get out of hand because the Astros have struggled so terribly to score runs the last few weeks. In their last 12 games through the first game of this series, they scored 3 runs or less 11 times. And that also includes 15 of the last 20 games. 3 runs or less. Wow, he helped him. Holding at second, Eusebio. Hernandez throws out Gutierrez.
Another example of what I'm talking about. If you're looking for the ball, there's no way you can swing at that pitch. But if you're looking for a splitter and you see it's a splitter, you will chase it. That's why you hear a lot of players say, I don't like to look for pitches because I chase them. Now, how can you swing at that pitch? That ball is never a strike if you are looking just for the ball. But if you're looking for a splitter and you see it's a splitter, actually it's a slider or something, you're looking for it and you just chase it.
So remember Rick Dempsey when he was with Baltimore? Could never get a hit against Fergie Jenkins. And Fergie would always get him out with a great Fergie Jenkins slider. So Dempsey said, tonight I'm sitting on that slider. And his teammate said, what are you talking about sitting on it? Whether you get it or not, you can't hit it.
Can't hit it anyway. That's the worst thing to do, look for something you can't hit.
You're sitting on something you can't hit, brother. 1 strike to count for Shane Reynolds.
But that's a problem a lot of hitters have. You get behind in the count, get 2 strikes, and you know it's a breaking ball or a splitter or something like that count, and they throw it and you chase it.
Shane Reynolds hit into a double play his first time. And just a brilliant double play started by Kilvio Barris after Reynolds had indicated bunt and then swung away. No swing there, according to Gary Darling. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kilvio Barris. Second baseman on both sides have been involved in some sensational plays in this one. Eusebio still at second. It's in there for a strike. A lot of movement on that sinker.
Yeah, I mean, you can see every once in a while when Ashby throws the ball. I mean, the ball just explodes. So that's why they compare some of his pitches to Kevin Brown's. That ball there just exploded.
We're not seeing that movement as much as I think they saw earlier this year when he was really beating everybody. They hung that breaking ball up there.
Well, see, that's what was getting him in trouble before when he had the injury. He wasn't able to get the ball down and keep it down consistently. There's Kevin Brown. He's probably sitting there saying, well, if they luck up and win today, I'll just beat them on Saturday.
And that's something we should discuss because Bruce Bochy had announced that Sterling Hitchcock was going to go Saturday. Randy Johnson had met Brown on Tuesday. But now both managers have scenarios where Brown and the big unit might go again on Saturday in Game 3 of this series. In fact, Bochy said that Brown wants to go on Saturday. He feels like he's better right now on the shorter rest than with 4 days of rest. In fact, he pitched that overpowering game Tuesday with only 3 days of rest. They wanted him to get an extra couple days and pitch last Wednesday, so he'd come in here with 6 days of rest. He said, no. Just the opposite. And he proved his point. So if your ace wants to go in Game 3, well, why not?
Well, the only thing I'll say is don't get too cocky because he beat Randy Johnson Tuesday. Doesn't mean he would beat Randy Johnson on Saturday. I'm sure he believes he will. But Randy Johnson has lost 4 straight postseason games, but he's been out-pitched. I mean, we saw Mussina do it last year twice, and we saw Kevin Brown here on Tuesday. So you have to pitch well to beat Randy. You don't just walk out there and beat him.
1-2 the count. And 3, so 2 straight strikeouts for Ashby. 2 men gone. Eusebio still at second. Now Biggio coming up. Game 3 of that series, by the way, whoever's pitching will be at 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 Pacific from San Diego. Also on Saturday, the lineup, the Yankees and Rangers on ESPN if necessary at 1 o'clock Eastern. Then Cleveland and Boston, game 4 on Fox. That's 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern. In primetime, the Braves and Cubs. Perhaps Kerry Wood and Greg Maddux there, 7:30 Eastern on NBC. And then all of those games will be on ESPN Radio as well. 2 down Biggio. Singleton scored. Walked and scored. And there is ball 1. Now, Larry Dierker said if they're down 2 games to none, and he says he feels strongly compelled to go with Johnson on Saturday. Is their best shot to stay alive in this series. On the other hand, if they win today, he might not come back with Randy on Saturday. And if he doesn't come back with him Saturday and they also win Saturday, in other words, if they go ahead 2 games to 1, he's also thinking about bypassing Randy on Sunday and using him in a possible game 5 here on Monday, because Randy has pitched so well in the Dome.
It's a lot of thinking.
He is. I don't think I don't think he's been sleeping much, Joe.
Yeah, that's a lot of thinking, man. You better think about today.
I'd hate to play chess with him. Tony Gwynn and Biggio retire. Well, they get a leadoff double and no runs. They are now 1 for 10 with men in scoring position, but they lead 3-0. 1 game to 1 tomorrow, game 3. The first game at Fenway Park in Boston. It's always fun. Yeah. October baseball at Fenway, there's nothing better in the afternoon. You'll see it right here on ESPN as Brett Saberhagen goes against Charles Nagy, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 Pacific tomorrow on ESPN.
Well, one good thing, John, the umpires switch series. The American League umpires that were in Cleveland now go to the Texas-New York series. That saves a little bit of controversy there anyway. And, of course, the series here changed it the same way. The umpires here will go to the Atlanta Cubs series after today.
Good idea.
It's a very good idea.
Carlos Hernandez shoots one on 1, hop to short. Gutierrez, there is 1 away. We mentioned Bill Garner, the manager of the Brewers, is here today. Of course, he used to play here. And Garner was tossed that baseball by Craig Biggio from the on-deck circle. Garner sitting next to longtime Major Leaguer, former Major League manager Bill Verdon there. Scrap iron, Bill Garner. He's still the manager of the Brewers, but they fired a lot of his coaches here this week.
Yes, still the manager. I think that was the key. As you said, he's still the manager. A lot of back and forth there. For a while he was going to be the manager, and then, well, we're going to wait and see. So, good that the guy doesn't get fired.
Very poor finish for the Milwaukee Brewers.
And Phil has been the manager there 7 years, and now that they're in the National League, and Phil, in my opinion, has always been a National League type player. With his aggressive play, and even when he was managing them, he managed a little bit like a National League type manager.
Gomez, the third, off the body of Spires, who recovers and throws it out. So 2 down, nobody on, and we're going to get a pinch hitter now for Andy Ashby.
Well, if you're a third baseman or a second baseman, you can knock the ball down and still have time to throw people out. So your objective should be to get in front of the ball. And that's what Spires does. Gets in front of it, knocks it down, and throws them out. When you play shortstop, you have to catch the ball cleanly every time and make the throw. I'm a little surprised that they're doing this, John, with 2 outs and no one on, with Ashby, unless his hip or something's bothering him. Although you see him shaking his head there, because with 2 outs, no one on, you're only in the 5th inning. A long way to go in this game.
Using up one of your pinch hitters early on.
And maybe your best pinch hitter, John Vanderwall.
Very experienced pinch hitter.
Yeah.
Had a big year with the Rockies 2 years ago in this role. Ball 1. It is 3-0. Houston leading. On the other hand, Bochy's got a much bigger bullpen than normal. Spires throws out Vanderwall. 3 up and 3 down. Coming up, Spires, Bell, Bagwell. Stay with us. Astros 3, Padres nothing. Game 2 of the National League Division Series. The Padres and the Astros. And the day was a short one for Andy Ashby. 4 innings and out. Lifted for a pinch hitter. Now Joey Hamilton, the enigmatic right-hander of the Padres, with such a great arm, but always a guy that they feel perhaps should be doing better than he has done.
Well, you're right. I mean, they have a lot of confidence in him, in his stuff. They just think that he makes mistakes, and you know, and Dave Stewart just thinks he doesn't focus well enough at times.
Well, I remember when we were here during the regular season for an ESPN Sunday night baseball game. Joey Hamilton made the start, and it almost seemed like he and Dave Stewart were at war with each other.
Right.
And I think for Dave Stewart, he was looking at it as tough love. Yeah, for the young right-hander. And it may have paid off because Hamilton got hot for a while. There were a lot of rumors that he was going to be traded. And about that time, he ran off a long winning streak. Spires the hitter, followed by Bell and Bagwell.
And Hamilton has a good fastball, good sinker, a great changeup, and a slider. So, and I think that was a lot of their problems. You know, you talked about how he forced Ashby to use his fastball more. I think he wanted Hamilton to use his fastball more, and Hamilton was using the changeup a lot more than Dave wanted him to.
Well, from a stretch in early May to early June, he lost 6 consecutive starts. And the rumors surfaced. Yeah, they're probably going to trade him. But then he ran off a 4-start winning streak. In fact, he had a stretch for more than a month where he did not lose a start for 8 straight starts. That's a tough slider. Strike 3 to Spires. The first time that Spires has been retired today.
Well, he set him up with fastballs that were running away and a sinker. And he comes down and in with that good hard slider. Good pitch.
Hamilton, after starting the year 5 wins and 9 losses, went 8-4 the rest of the year. Here's Garrett Bell. He's 0 for 2. And that's ball 1. Also, keep in mind, there was only one pitcher in all of baseball, one starting pitcher, who was more poorly supported than Joey Hamilton. They just didn't score much when he started. Averaged just a little over 3 runs per start in support of him. 2-0 the count to Bell. Still looking for that first hit. And Joe, until he gets it in the postseason, those media people are just going to keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
You know how those media people are. He is hitless in the postseason.
You know, speaking of media people, I saw something in the paper, and it's the first time, you know, Larry Dirk and I were teammates, and I really think he's done a fantastic job as a manager. And I read something today that puzzled me. It doesn't sound like the Larry Dirker that I know. He basically said, if I don't pitch Randy Johnson on Saturday.
That's a high drive deep in the left center field. Vaughn going back. He's under it now. Number 2.
He said, if I don't pitch Randy Johnson on Saturday, I'm going to get killed in the media. And that's not like Larry to worry about what someone else thinks about, you know, his team. And I didn't get a chance to ask him today because I wanted to make sure that that statement was correct, because it just doesn't seem like the Larry Dirker that I know.
Well, I mean, today he told me that, again, as I said, if they win today and they win Saturday, meaning without Randy Johnson on Saturday, if they win today, which sounds to me like he's whether he's going to get killed by the media or not, thinking of not using Randy on Saturday, if they can win this one, that he might even hold him back till Game 5, if there is one. I don't know, Joe. He could get killed by the media if he does that.
Well, that was interesting, because that's, like I said, that's just not like Larry to think about. You know, he decides what's best for his team, and that's what you have to do.
Well, he was a media guy for years.
I agree. And maybe that's why he's fixing like that.
I forgot. You're not media.
I'm not a journalist, John.
I forgot that. You're not a media guy.
No, I'm an analyst.
Oh, you're a TV and motion picture star.
I would not criticize him if he didn't pitch Randy Johnson on Saturday. See, I wouldn't pitch him I would not criticize him if he didn't pitch Randy. See, and the media people would. So that immediately tells you that I'm not a media person.
Yeah. Well, I would only criticize him after the game if they lost. This is Joe Morgan, not a media person.
Not a media person.
Yeah.
My job description says analyst.
Sounds like a media person. Wearing the media person equipment, Joe, sounds like a media person to me.
Well, you are a media person and Peter Pasquarelli. You guys are journalists and, you know.
What's this?
This is an analyst piece of equipment.
Jeff Bagwell down on strikes. Top of the order coming up for San Diego. We go to the 6th. It's still 3-0. Houston. The Astrodome in Houston. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan, your ESPN Division Series telecasters. National League Division Series Game 2. Padres lead 1-0, but the Astros have a 3-0 lead in this must-win game. Now the Padres come up with the top of their order. Kilby O'Barra, Steve Finley, and Tony Gwynn coming up against Shane Reynolds. Reynolds not only has shut them down in just one hit, he's made it look fairly easy. Only thrown 51 pitches. First ball swinging up the middle. Base hit. Pass to diving Craig Biggio.
John, we saw Tony Gwynn on Tuesday hit a slider from Randy Johnson down the left field line for a bullet. I mean, it's one of the best swings I've ever seen because Randy had pitched him inside so tough. Watch how he just looked at with his upper body is all he uses there to go after the ball. I mean, look at this. Look at this positioning. But that's Tony Gwynn. He just swings with his upper body, and he keeps his head right there, and he's able to do it. Here's today. Now watch, just upper body. That's all he uses. And that's the way he hits, and that's one of the reasons that he can be so consistent. He doesn't rotate out. He doesn't pull off of pitches. But it's also one of the reasons he doesn't hit, 25 or 30 home runs a year.
Steve Finley down the left field line, deep. Going back is a little, all the way back to the wall. Off the top of the scoreboard. Grant back toward the infield now. That will get Veras all the way home. Holding with a double is Steve Finley. And it is 3-1 Houston as Finley almost left the yard with that one.
Well, we talked about how the ball seemed to be carrying so well today, John. And, I mean, that ball really carried well the other way from Steve Finley. Pitches out over the plate. Finley goes the other way with it. And here's Alou. He goes back all the way thinking he may have a chance. Now when it hits, it bounces away from him as he slips all the way back towards the infield. And by the time they retrieve it, Veras has scored, and Finley's at second with a double.
I mean, if he hit that ball 5 feet or so closer to the foul line, it would have been a home run. The fence is much shorter. The first 25 feet away from the foul pole in left field. When you get that out-of-town scoreboard, you've got to hit it over the scoreboard for a home run there. There you see the yellow line coming out from the foul pole, and then the big scoreboard. Of course, you used to have to hit it up into those seats
all the way
above
up.
The auxiliary scoreboard, above where it says San Diego and Houston there. In the old days.
Yeah, when Jimmy Wynn was the power hitter here.
Tony Gwynn quickly behind in the count, 0-2 here. I mean, Tony Gwynn this year, as you see, he's always had success with Reynolds. Gwynn, in 461 regular season at-bats, struck out 18 times. Unbelievable. What's that? One time every 26, 27 at-bats. Now the second base umpire, Bob Davidson, is coming off the field, or at least coming toward the backstop here.
Sir, can you not do that during the game because the sign's on the field, okay?
Well, apparently someone behind the screen was flashing something or doing something to distract the players on defense.
And Bob Davidson went over personally to put an end to it. Umpiring at second, veteran umpire. 2 strikes to Tony Gwynn. Look at that. Tough pitch, and he raked it down the line. He's going to hold it first as Finley comes in to score, and it is 3-2. So the Padres right back in the game, still nobody out. Caminetti coming up next, then Vaughn.
Well, you can see the difference in what I was talking about with Tony Gwynn. I mean, this is a good low splitter. Now watch what he does when he does nothing but his upper body. Watch it, just his hands. Look at that. Nothing but hands, and he hits a line drive to right field. Look at that. Nothing but hands. He doesn't get his body way out in front of anything. He just keeps his hands back and throws his hands at the ball. I mean, he's a great hitter. I was a little surprised that he threw him that splitter because that allowed him to pull the ball, and you're trying to keep him from pulling the ball on the ground anyway.
The bullpen gets busy now as Ken Caminetti comes up. The big curveball misses. 1 ball and no strikes. Caminetti has popped to short and grounded it into a force play. The Astros, in case Reynolds has mysteriously lost it all of a sudden here, will be ready in the bullpen. The splitter bounced foul on the first base side. Well, that's exactly what you said earlier in the game. I mean, he's not looking splitter on 2 strike. He's just looking for a strike. Right. Plus, when it was a splitter, I mean, he's got such quick hands to react to it.
A lot of hitting is more mental than we realize. I mean, just how you look for pitches, what you look for in certain situations, because you can't always get into a hitter's count where you know exactly what the speed is going to be. But when you look for a breaking ball or something and you chase it, that's when you get yourself in trouble.
Came in with a fastball, but back to the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jay Powell, the right-hander, up in the bullpen for the Astros. Greg Vaughn on deck. They had only 1 hit in the game for 5 innings, and Veras singled. Finley has doubled, and Gwynn has singled.
And if I didn't know any better, I think you jinxed Reynolds because you just started talking about how well he was pitching.
He has been sensational. Back to him. Could be 2. There's 1. Gutierrez to first. 2. That was a big one with Vaughn coming up.
Well, Caminetti, as I mentioned at the beginning, he's hurting. He's not able to swing the bat as well as he wants. He's got a bad muscle pull in his hamstring. He's not able to swing the bat as well as he wants, and he definitely can't run as well as he wants. But this was 1-6 to 3. That's just a nice turn there.
Pitcher to short to first. 2 down, nobody on. And here is Greg Vaughn, who is well capable of tying this ball game all by himself. He is the guy that doesn't need a base runner to get a run home. 1-1. He started him with the strikeout pitch. Vaughn hit one out of here against the big unit on Tuesday. Astros had 2 guys who won 19 games this year. Johnson, of course, won 10 of them in Houston, 9 of them in Seattle. Reynolds won all 19 of his for the Astros. They also had Jose Lima won 16. Sean Bergman won 12. Mike Hampton won 11. Pretty good rotation Larry Dirk's put together here. Wow. 1 and 2. High cheese.
Well, if you win 100 ball games, you're going to have some winners on this ball club. You're going to have some pitchers with some double figures. Jose Lima.
If they win today, they'll probably go with Hampton Saturday in San Diego. If Hampton wins Saturday, Lima could go Sunday, leaving Randy for a possible Game 5. But Kevin Brown really wants to go Saturday in Game 3 for San Diego.
Well, you're starting to think like Larry Dirker, 4 and 5 games ahead, man. We're doing today's game. And possibly the 5th game on Monday.
The splitter, that's foul. The other thing he's thinking, talk about thinking ahead. And he says, this is, because I'm just wondering if I pitch Randy Saturday with 3 days rest.
Can he come back?
Then he thinks Randy, if they go ahead and win the series, then Randy will be set up to pitch Game 1 of the League Championship Series.
And then what about the World Series?
Oh, come on, Joe. The fork ball for the strikeout. And he has struck Vaughn out twice. But the Padres right back in the game. Alou coming up 3-2 Houston. In game 1 of the Astrodome, Kevin Brown was dominating. 16 strikeouts in 8 innings. Greg Vaughn, the 50 home run man, went deep. Hoffman saved it. They won 2-1. Jeff Bagwell with a clutch 2-run single in the third. Shane Reynolds pitching strongly, but then the comeback. Tony Gwynn driving in the second run. Looking for a hero at the Astrodome today. Critical game for the Astros. They'll be on the critical list if they don't win it. They lead 3-2 now. Joey Hamilton out of the bullpen in relief of Andy Ashby. Into his second inning of work, Moises Alou taking ball 1. Alou has fly deep to right and grounded out to second. Something that changes in the postseason, of course, especially with the days off in the short series. A guy like Joey Hamilton can go into the bullpen as a great long man. And the Padres have quite a different look because of that than in the regular season. From shortstop, Gomez throws out Alou, and look what he's done already in this game. The guys that Ashby couldn't get out, Biggio, Spires, Bell, Bagwell, that scored the runs the first time around. He has retired them all here in a row since coming on.
It's kind of like what happened in Cleveland yesterday with Dave Burba, who was a normal starter, came on in long relief for Dwight Gooden after he was ejected from the ballgame. He's done a great job. There's Ashby. Doesn't seem to be any problems physically.
Thrown out by Vera. Everett is 0 for 3 in this one. So 2 men are gone. Everett is in the eye of the storm here a little bit because he made some comments before game 1 to the effect that in terms of Kevin Brown as being a great starter, he said, well, we'll see after the ball game. I can't say that I have any special respect for him until we played the ball game. Well, the Padres took exception to that, but he said afterward all he meant is that everything he did in the regular season, he had a great season. He's a great pitcher, obviously, but that has nothing to do with this.
Well, but what was his reaction after the game? He said he'll have to wait and see.
Looked pretty chuffy, though, after the game.
Well, as long as he came back with that, he's fine.
They said, well, you're gonna go to Kevin Brown and explain yourself and apologize to him? Said, absolutely not.
I don't believe you should do that.
DeSavio with a shot into right center for a double his last time. Was hit by a pitch the first time. Well, getting the nerves are a little on edge again here. A little frayed at the Astrodome. They had a 3-0 lead early. But now it is only 3-2 in the 6th inning. And suddenly, Joey Hamilton has come in here and shut down the Astros. More than ever before. More than ever in the last 30, 40 years or more in baseball. A real strong middle reliever can be a great boon to a team because there's just so much more offense now. No lead is insurmountable. And that's 6 in a row retired by Hamilton. We head to the late innings. 3-2 Houston. Gene Elston, the longtime voice of the Houston Astros. In fact, the original voice of the Astros when they came into being in 1962. He and his old partner Lowell Pass was very popular here for many, many years. Gene Elston, still a fan. Out here all the time. Wally Joyner leads off for the Padres against Shane Reynolds. It is 3-2 Houston. We start the 7th inning. The bullpen is already busy as Reynolds got him swinging at a slow curveball and ended his 0-1. Wally Joyner is a guy who's just a tough hitter. Not a whole lot of power, but tough to pitch to. There's Jay Powell up in the bullpen for the second time. He'll be ready if needed here on short notice. Carlos Hernandez and Chris Gomez will follow. The pitcher spot due up 4. That's Powell up the left field line. The Padres bullpen is also busy. In the bullpen, Donnie Wall, former Astro, just had an outstanding year in middle relief for the Padres. 1-2 the count. To the count. Into left center field, Everett trotting over. Number 1. Now let's get an update. Here's Bob Stevens.
Thank you, John. ESPN's Harold Reynolds has learned that doctors have diagnosed a malignant tumor the size of a walnut in the colon of Yankee outfielder Darryl Strawberry. Now, that is a tumor significantly smaller than the one removed from Strawberry's good friend Eric Davis last summer. Strawberry and Davis have spoken about the matter today. Surgery is scheduled on Saturday. Joe Torre has already addressed the Yankees as to that situation. We'll have more on SportsCenter after the game. Now back to John and Joe at the Astros.
John, that's amazing. I mean, two guys that grew up together, Eric Davis and Darryl Strawberry, to both end up having the same type of cancer. Well, let's just hope that he can recover as Eric Davis has and be able to continue his baseball career and have a good life.
Carlos Hernandez, the hitter, pops it up. Prayers and best wishes to Darryl Strawberry and his family. And it is shocking news indeed here in what is such a happy time of year in the baseball community. The postseason. And just terrible irony, because Darryl, who seemed to have gotten his life put together here, and perhaps happier than he's ever been, and becoming a great role model for many, and now this.
Well, I was going into Yankee Stadium yesterday before the ball game, and I came across through the Polaris parking lot, and Darryl was walking towards me in his street clothes, and I made a joke. I said, well, you're not dressed for the win tonight. And he told me that he had to go take some tests because there was a spot on his colon, and it just bothered me most of the evening last night, and now it's even worse than I feared.
Gomez pops it up with a shallow left center. Alou. Reynolds rebounds nicely. 3-2 Houston. A called strike to Ricky Gutierrez as we start the last of the 7th inning. Joey Hamilton in relief for the Padres, his 3rd inning. Off the glove of Caminetti. Gutierrez is aboard.
A healthy Ken Caminetti eats that ball up right there. That was, he's not able to move as quickly as he normally does, but I mean, the Gold Glove winner, he's a very good defensive third baseman, but he was just not able to move as quickly there. He kind of slides into that. Just not a normal Caminetti reaction there.
Now Shane Reynolds, the pitcher, has hit into a double play and struck out. Obvious sacrifice situation here. Caminetti very shallow at 3rd. Hamilton will go to first. Veras covering. So Gutierrez, they gave him credit for a hit on the play, has been moved up. Now to the top of the order in Biggio. This is a big run to try and get, as it's the first time that the Astros have even had a base runner against Joey Hamilton. Biggio has singled, walked, and flied out. He's scored each time that he's reached. And he was an outstanding RBI man, even though he's a leadoff man. With 88 runs batted in, he hit .360 in these kinds of RBI situations in the regular season.
And the record for leadoff hitter and RBIs is held by Nomar Garcia-Parra, who has 98, had 98 last year, but he also had a DH hitting in front of him, and Biggio has the pitch.
Whole different situation. Just off the outside. 95-mile-an-hour heater 1 ball, no strikes.
And it looked like it confused Hernandez, and that's why he's going out there, because Hernandez looked like he was expecting that ball to break.
You know, Hernandez said when we had those 2 balls that got past him, and Randy Johnson was showing bunt the other day, Hernandez said afterward he couldn't see the ball, that he was obstructed by Johnson himself. But Randy's body, as he kind of leaned over to try to bunt the ball, obstructed his view. Foul and back out of play. The big unit. That was a game that was a memorable one. I mean, he pitched extremely well, gave up only 2 runs in 8 innings and lost it. Kevin Brown with one of the great postseason performances. Hernandez into Hamilton in conversation again. Hernandez was not kissing him for luck in the shoulder there. He was just trying to keep them from the opposition from seeing what he was saying, reading his lips. Screen. Well, Joey's swinging that high inside fastball again.
Well, they're pitching him in, and see, that's the other part about the mental aspect of hitting. If they're pitching you in, you start to look for the ball in, and then the plate moves with you as you move away from the plate. You think it'll pitch inside, and they throw it inside, you swing at it. But they've definitely been pitching in, and then trying to get him to chase something away.
Gutierrez has to go back. Gomez throws out Biggio.
And another pitch inside that jammed him.
2 down. And Spires will try and get him home.
And watch, you saw 3 pitches inside, and here's the 4th, and watch this right inside. There's the ball's tailing in. You can see him pull his hands in just to try to get to the ball. See how he pulls his hands in? And he still gets jammed. He fights it off up the middle. So they found a way that they want to attack Biggio anyway, and that's with the fastball in.
2 down, here's Spires. The Astros as a team have 1 hit in 11 at-bats with men in scoring position in this game. Only hit a 2-run single by Bagwell. First ball swinging, Spires with the pop-up. Vera make that 1 for 12. Still 3-2. The pitcher's spot. Then Veras and Steve Finley coming up. 3-2. Houston. Single to put the Astros ahead 3-0. It's now 3-2 as we start the 8th inning. And that base hit by Bagwell, the 2-run single in the 3rd, is the only one they've had in RBI situations today. They're 1 for 12 with men in scoring position. Meanwhile, we have seen the last of Shane Reynolds. Jay Powell has come on to pitch. It was interesting. Reynolds was left up there to bunt. But as Sweeney comes up to pinch hit with Veras and Finley, a switch hitter and a lefty behind him, it is Jay Powell who gets the call here. And already, as we're in the 8th inning, the closer, Billy Wagner, is up. He'll be ready. You get the lefty here, Sweeney, and then the switch hitter, Veras. And then 2 lefties, Finley and Gwynn. At which point, Durker, Joe, he might make the move right there with Finley coming out.
Well, it makes a lot of sense.
Wagner has not often gone more than 1 inning this year.
Yeah, but if he can get Finley, you know, it's his 2 outs and he gets Finley, he's really only pitching 1 1/3. That's not a lot more, so.
Yeah. So the key really to Durker's strategy here is Powell getting these first 2 guys out.
Exactly.
Before he goes to Wagner. Sweeney, the Padres' top left-handed pinch hitter all year. Back to the screen, and it is 0-1. Powell in the World Series last year with the Florida Marlins. And here we are in another postseason series in the Astrodome. I mean, 2 of the best league championship series in the National League of the 80s were played here. 1986, a memorable one. The Mets and the Astros. Last 2 games won extra innings. I mean, incredible games. The last game the 6th game, the Mets had a 3-run 9th inning after being shut out by Bob Knepper behind 3-0. They scored 3 in the 9th to stay alive. Went ahead in the 14th only to blow the lead in the last of the 14th. Got 3 in the 16th only to see the Astros get 2 in the 16th before they finally survived in a war of attrition. Jesse Orozco, after blowing a save, went 3 innings to get the win, and he was going on fumes by the end of that one. And Aurelio Lopez, Senor Smoke, took the loss in that one. That was a great series, one of the best. But 1980, when you played it, Joe, was one of the, I think, for me, the best ever.
I agree.
I mean, you didn't hit too much in that series, but nonetheless, great series.
I'm kind of like Joe Carter. You have to keep bringing that up, huh?
Well, see, I'm a reporter.
Oh, okay.
Like yourself.
You're a media guy.
I'm a media guy.
Okay.
Scott Ellerton, right-handed rookie, and a good one, has joined Wagner out there. Shane Reynolds threw 74 pitches, 19 of them out of the strike zone. He walked only 1, had 5 strikeouts before giving way here to Jay Powell in the 8th. Sweeney battling it out here, 2 strikes to count. He did get a lot of walks in that 1980 series, Joe. I'll give you that. I checked it out.
Oh, okay. What about the triple I hit to, win the 4th game? Or was it, how many games they play in those days? 5. Yeah, 4th game.
Was that the 1-0 game?
Yeah. Yeah, about the 12th inning. That was the 1-0 game.
That was the 3rd game.
Well, yeah, 3rd game.
All right.
And put us up 2 games to 1. I don't remember.
What happened to you in the 4th and 5th games when the Phillies came back to win?
Well, I got a hit or 2, but then Bill Verdon decided to take me out early.
I remember some walks you got in those last 2.
Oh. Well, I was walks good as a hit.
What were you, like a defensive liability in those days?
I did have a bad knee.
Bruce Bochy was your teammate in that Astros team.
You're right. Ooh.
Oh. And the crowd doesn't like it.
That looks like that Bob Boone home run in Wrigley Field. He was starting back to the plate.
Yeah. I mean, Sweeney was headed for the dugout.
He's headed for the dugout.
Yeah, all right.
All right, you got me. Okay, you got me.
Uh-oh. Still alive up there. He's battling it out here. I mean, try to call yourself out, why don't you, Mark? Sorry, Joe. Again, here we are doing this division series, and it's starting to sound like this is your life, Joe Morgan.
Yeah, I know. But that was a good part. Even though I didn't hit as well as I did in some other series, it was just great to be there, you know?
You had a 421 on base percentage in that
just
series.
Great to be there.
But it was a great series, one of the best. Maybe the best. Bagwell, nice pickup. Powell, 1 away. Well, Mark Sweeney gave him an incredible battle, although he seemed to concede in the middle of it. A 9-pitch at bat for Sweeney.
Nice play by Bagwell. I mean, backhands it, stays down low, and then he fires it to Powell early. That's what I like. Give it to the pitcher early so he has time to catch the ball and then find the bag. Don't lead him so he's looking for the bag and the ball at the same time.
Now, Kilvio Veras been on base twice and has scored once. He started the 6th inning rally that got the Padres back into it. And that's a foul ball. Wagner, the lefty. Ellerton, the right-hander, up in the Astros bullpen. That's Ellerton. Wagner's been throwing enough that he's ready.
Well, but it doesn't look like he's thinking the way that we were thinking. If he gets Veras out, maybe he'll just leave him in the pitch to Finley.
And maybe that was it.
Yeah.
If there was some trouble,
right,
Wagner was his man. 0-2. Well, he was ahead of Sweeney 0-2. Then Sweeney gave him quite a battle after that. Joey Hamilton, great job in middle relief. 3 shutout innings, retired 9 of the 10 men he faced. I mean, they're just the quintessential middle relief role there. keeping his club right there with a chance to come back to win. We're in the 8th inning. It's a 1-run game. Struck him out. Two down. And Finley.
Well, good pitch from Powell. You can see right there a little slider that goes down and in, and Vera swings over the top of it.
Rivers back to the bench. And now an easy man to strike out. Two down. Steve Finley, who almost left the yard the last time. Good sinker on the outside. It's 0-1. Finley hit a double, driving in the first San Diego run high off the scoreboard in left field. 3-2 Houston. Two down, nobody on. Tony Gwynn is on deck. And this is a big out for Powell. I mean, if Finley can get a double or something here, the Padres will be set up nicely with one of the great hitters of his time, Tony Gwynn, coming up next. Padres have only 4 hits. Andy Ashby, the starter, stayed on the dugout since being removed after the 4th inning. 2-1 the count now to Finley. By the way, that 1980 League Championship Series, which I thought was maybe the best ever, a 5-game series, a best of 5. The last 4 games went extra innings. Right? Now that's incredible.
Nolan Ryan was on the hill in Game 5 for the Astros.
Foul and out of play. Nolan did not have one of his best games. He took a 5-2 lead into the 8th inning, and the Phillies got 5 runs in the 8th. And the Astros got 2 in the last of the 8th to tie it, and they went extra innings again. Quite a series. Michael Jack Schmidt played in that one, too. There's some pretty good names out there. Pete Rose was on the Phillies. Steve Charlton. The crowd rising to its feet. Bagwell. Powell. The side is retired. Now the big guys. Bell, Bagwell, Alou. Still 3-2 Houston. Thank you. Now the last of the 8th from the Astrodome. A little too tense for these Astros fans. They'd like to see the Astros score here before the Padres send up Gwynn, Caminetti, and Vaughn in the 9th inning. And they've got their big hitters up against the new pitcher, the former Astro, Donnie Wall. Derek Bell at the plate. And you would think anyway, the pressure continues to mount on Bell. He's now 0 for 20 these last 2 years in the postseason. And I'm feeling pressure for him. In the dirt, 2-1. Donnie Wall, 31 years of age, still makes his offseason home here in Houston. Broke in with the Astros back in '95. And for the Padres this year. And he was a great find for them. You saw his numbers, 70 in the 3rd innings. Jumps out at me, Joe. 50 hits allowed. So he was awfully tough to hit. Was a great man in middle relief for the Padres. That one is on its way. And Derek Bell has broken the spell. His first postseason hit. A big fly. 4-2 Astros. Count, and I mean, he hits a rope. This is a line drive that just gets out of here in a hurry. I mean, that is a big fly right there. That was a home run in the old days. Yeah, you're right. Into the upper deck. I tell you what, I guess his hitting guru is happy now. Thank you, Guru. Well, he's going to keep that bat near him.
see Bell. He says, I'm smiling. Yeah, 0 for 20, huh? Take that.
Yeah. The force be with you. 1 ball, 1 strike to Bagwell. Yes, missing in the outside edge, maybe a little low. Bagwell's had 3 RBIs today. I don't think that takes a little heat off of everybody else in this Astro line when Bagwell starts doing his thing. That curveball, a beauty. 2-2 the count. So now it is 4-2.
John, if you're the Astros, you just need to win 1 game, and then I think you'll relax. If you can win this ball game, you'll see a different Astro team the rest of the way.
He went around with it. So Bagwell is gone. Badly fooled by Donnie Wall.
But pressure is on this entire ball club, especially from what happened to them with the Atlanta Braves last year, and with all the expectations they had coming in, thinking that Randy Johnson was automatically going to win the first game for them, then they would only have to fight to win 2 more themselves. Well, they found out a little differently, and now I think they will relax and start playing a little better. Once you get that 1 base hit under your belt, you're okay, and the 1 win.
And with this group, because that's always the bottom line, especially the win under their belt. That's what the Astros have been all about. Check swing. They won with a barehanded pickup. Alou is 0 for 4 in this one and 1 for 8 in the series. 2 down, and Carl Everett is coming up. We got 2 real evenly matched ball clubs here. The Astros 102 wins, the Padres 98 wins. I mean, look at the matchups these first 2 games. The Astros send 2 19-game winners out there, and they're matched up by an 18-game winner, Kevin Brown, and today's starter Ashby a 17-game winner, and the first man out of the bullpen a 13-game winner. So there's plenty of pitching on both sides. Base hit. First hit of the game for Everett. The thing that's got to be of great concern to Bochy is his ball club has just not hit for more than a month.
Right. And that's why they would have to have been the underdogs coming in, because they were just not producing any runs.
So if they lose this one today, they really have to be thinking they need to get it over with without it coming back here for a 15. Kevin Brown may well be the guy who gets the call on Saturday in Game 3 to try and put them back ahead if indeed this score holds up. And don't forget, in the 9th inning, the Padres will give it their best shot. Gwynn, Caminetti, Vaughn, Joyner, the first 4 guys due up. Their best hitters lined up in a row. Everett's going to take off, and Joyner's throw. Too late. Good read on that one by Carl Everett.
Well, this is an error on Wally Joyner, because what he does is he catches the ball and lets Everett knock it out of his glove. He didn't bring the tag from behind him. He put it in front of him. And Everett knocked the ball out of his glove.
So now Eusebio with a man in scoring position. This could be a real big run. I mean, right now, if Gwynn gets on, Caminetti and Vaughn each could be the tying run. Heads up, 2-1 the count. Billy Wagner. He is the babyface assassin of the Astros bullpen. Gutierrez, a right-handed hitter, was on deck. In 3 of the series in San Diego Saturday night, 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 Eastern, 10 Central. Ooh, the curveball for a strike. He's not giving in here with first base open to Eusebio.
Is that a ooh, he should have hit it? Ooh, that was a nasty pitch.
Ooh, that was a nasty pitch.
Okay.
Yeah, the hammer. The yacker. Struck him out with a slider, the slide piece. And Hernandez will throw him out after dropping the ball. Big run on the home run by Bell. The big fly. But now Gwynn, Caminetti, and Vaughn against the flame-throwing Wagner when we come back. Billy Wagner, a real hard thrower. And he focuses before heading back to the mound to start the inning. And he'll need everything going for him here as the Padres throw all of their best against him in a row. Gwynn, Caminetti, Vaughn. Brad Ausmus in to catch part of a double switch. Low for ball one.
And the home run by Bell gives him a margin for error. He wouldn't have had any margin for error with these three sluggers coming up, but now
slowly up the first base side. Bagwell. One away. That is the big out. Big out for the very reason you just mentioned, Joe, because now Caminetti cannot tie the game with one swing of the bat. I mean, astounding numbers again for Wagner this year. 60 innings pitched, 97 strikeouts. Caminetti 0 for 3. Big chop on the turf. It wouldn't have mattered had he come up with it cleanly. An infield hit for Caminetti, and now here's the ultimate confrontation. The 50 home run man, the great power hitter Vaughn against the great power pitcher. And we have seen one of those 98-mile-an-hour heaters turn the other way this year, Joe, by a great power hitter. Remember the just incredible home run that McGuire hit to win a ball game against Wagner in St. Louis earlier this summer. Upper deck shot.
Well, a lot of these guys can hit the ball out of the ballpark off these fastballs. Piazza hit one in the ninth inning to tie a game for the Mets.
Keeping it away from him, 97 miles an hour.
Well, Vaughn angry at himself for making that feeble a swing when he needs to drive the ball. You don't say you have to hit a home run, but you need to drive something that may find a gap. Better swing, but better location from Wagner. Perfect pitch just off the plate outside corner.
The crowd to its feet at the Dome. One out, one on. Into left center. Everett is there. Out number 2. An anxious moment for the fans in the Dome. Vaughn hit it hard.
Well, he was lucky he got that ball away and it was down a little bit. If that ball's up just a little bit more, he would have hit it out.
Now Wally Joyner will be lifted as we take a look at it again here, Joe.
Now watch where this pitch is. It's down and away. If that ball is up just a little bit, he could have driven it out of the ballpark, but good pitch by Wagner.
Jim Leyritz, the pinch hit for Joyner. Former World Series hero with the Yankees 2 years ago against another real hard thrower, Mark Wahlers. He has never faced Wagner before. You see his postseason credentials impeccable. He is the possible tying run. 2 down in the ninth. On the outside corner. Caminetti at first, but Bagwell is nowhere near the bag. Caminetti runs a check swing foul.
And that's something I don't understand, how you do not hold a tying run on base in the ninth inning with 2 outs. I'm sorry, I forgot it was 2-run lead. You're right.
1-2. It's foul off the right field line. Now, when Wohlers hung the slider to him in the '96 World Series, I think one thing that was pointed out very well at that time, and a couple of swings on Wohlers' fastballs, it looked like Leyritz might have been timing it. Caminiti runs, and it's another foul ball out of play. It's just power versus power here. Wagner has thrown nothing but the hard stuff since coming in.
Well, you do not want to get beat or tied with your second best pitch. So he's going with the fastball. He just hopes he can get it in a spot that Leyritz can't handle it.
He took it as Caminiti eases into second base. He was running with a pitch. Now it is 2-2.
Good pitch there by Wagner. He fouled off a couple of high fastballs. He went just a little higher.
And the last one at 99 miles an hour. The first one 98 miles an hour. The first four at 98. 2-2 with 2 down. Three and 2. Would be next. The outfield deep all the way around. Down the right field line. This one is slicing back and a home run. It is tied up. Leyritz hit the foul pole to tie the game.
The Astros and Billy Wagner are snake bit. 2 strikes, 2 outs, and the guy hits a home run off the foul pole the opposite way.
Jim Leyritz, Mr. October.
You're right.
Wow. Carlos Hernandez. And something other than a fastball for the first time. Well, Joe, I mean, we all wondered, man, what if Wohlers had not thrown in that slider that he hit for the 3-run homer? Well, maybe that's why.
Well, the tough part is, I mean, Wagner threw him the good fastball. He tried to get him to chase up and out of the zone. He wouldn't chase. And I'm just surprised that he was able to hit that ball out of here the other way like that. It was a high fastball away. He was just late on it, but he had enough carry, and it stayed fair.
I think Wagner supplied a great deal of the power of that one for him. Look out. 1-2. Jim Leyritz had been sitting and watching for 8 innings. Came off the bench and saw nothing but the heat. 98, 99 miles an hour. And then finally, after fouling some away, he hit one just barely fair right out of the ballpark. Yeah, we love you, baby. Base hit. Well, Wagner, you know that Mets series a couple of weeks ago, one of the great series of the year, Wagner gave up home runs twice in the late innings of that series.
Fastball, I mean, that is up, out of the strike zone, but he gets enough on it, and he keeps it fair. Bochy's waiting, and now he sees the umpire wave fair, and we're tied.
A 9-pitch at bat for Leyritz. It looked to me like it actually just missed the foul pole. Went around the foul pole. And from that angle, it landed on the foul side of the pole after curling around. The batter Gomez. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wow, what an astounding moment in this game. Jim Leyritz does it again. I mean, his 3-run homer in the '96 World Series was in one of the great World Series games we've seen in years. When the Yankees came from a 6-0 deficit. The last 3 runs of the rally supplied on Leyritz's home run against Wohlers. Out of play, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And I know we've spoken about it. many times, Joe. I mean, the defense for Wohlers in that one. I mean, you can see the Leyritz a couple times fouling balls straight back on fastballs, looking like he might have had him timed. Today, nothing but fastballs and Leyritz homers again. Back to the screen.
And he wasn't out in front of any of them. He fouled them off to the right. I mean, if you're a fastball pitcher and you can throw that ball up and away from a right-handed hitter, you just never think that he's going to be able to get on top of it enough to hit it out of the ballpark and keep it fair down the right field line.
Top foul, back out of play again. So Wagner having a hard time putting Gomez away. $1995. Leyritz with the Yankees in the postseason. '96 on the World Series team. Base hit for Gomez. And we'll get a pinch hitter for Donnie Wall now. It is 4-4, and suddenly, not only have the Padres tied the game, but they are a base hit away from perhaps taking the lead. And George Arias is going to come in as a pinch hitter. And the pinch runner will go in at second base for Hernandez. That is Andy Sheets. Scott Ellerton up in the Astros bullpen again. And Vern Rule out to the mound to talk to the embattled Billy Wagner here. Well, you know, the home run here by Leyritz is his 4th in postseason play. He hit a big home run back in the division series against the Mariners in 1995. Also hit one in the league championship series in '96 against the Orioles. And of course that famous World Series home run. Game 4 that tied the game. I mean, that may have been the key home run of that whole World Series. A win by the Braves that day would have made it 3-1 Atlanta. Here's George Arias. His home run against Seattle, as I mentioned, in the '95 division series, was a dramatic one. In the 15th inning against Tim Belcher, it ended the game. Jim Leyritz, 5-time player. Well, Arias doesn't look like he has much of a shot. 0-2.
Well, he made 2 good pitches away. Fastballs running away from him.
The Padres have as many runs and as many hits in this inning as they had through 8 innings. Two on, 1-2. 2 runs and 4 hits here in the 9th for the Padres. And all of those missed opportunities with men in scoring position haunting the Astros right now. I mean, they've had a chance to have 2, 3, 4 more runs on the board than they have. 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position today. But this one is tied. Shades of 80 and 86 at the Astrodome. No lead save, and Jim Leyritz off the bench to tie it up. Just fair. 4-4. We'll be back. The Astrodome, Game 2 of the National League Division Series. A must-win for the Astros. They were 1 out away, 1 strike away from winning it when Jim Leyritz on the 9th pitch of his at-bat hit a stunning 2-run homer. So it is tied. Ricky Gutierrez leads off against Dan Maselli in from the bullpen. An outstanding setup man for the Padres this year was 10-5, all in relief in 67 games. Just about 1 strikeout per inning. Gutierrez the hitter. The breaking ball. And the run. Gomez off the bat. So Gutierrez is aboard.
Well, he got out of the box well. He's hustling. He gets out of the box, which puts pressure on Gomez. He charges, and the throw is just off the line. He sees up, looks up, and he has to rush. It's going to be a very close play at first base anyway.
Great hustle by Gutierrez.
And good job by Leyritz to block it.
And as you see right there, Leyritz stayed in to play first base after pinch hitting for Joyner. Also a new catcher is in, Greg Myers. After Hernandez was lifted for a pinch runner. Brad Ausmus up now. Trying to get Gutierrez over. And it is ball one. The Padre bullpen is busy. Marcelli, the fourth San Diego pitcher of the day. But there is Trevor Hoffman. Normally the closer. But perhaps sensing he might need to save the tie at some point in this inning. So Hoffman is getting ready. And it is a foul ball. One ball, one strike. Ausmus pretty handy with the bat. He could also hit and run. Pretty adept at making contact. Gutierrez runs well. Both of them looking over at Mike Cubbage, the third base coach.
Well, you got a new catcher who's in the ball game and a new pitcher. It might not be a bad idea to try hit and run or to try something.
Gutierrez stole 13 bases during the season. Leyritz on the bag with it. Tried the curveball on the bunt. 2-1. And again, Ausmus, now it's really a running count as Ausmus looks over at Cubbage, the third base coach. Jose Cruz, senior, coaching at first for the Astros, a veteran of those two great playoff series. There he is, 1980 and 86. Off the outside. 3-1. Well, Joe, these teams are so evenly matched. That's why I brought up the 80 and 86 series. I mean, it seemed coming in that we had a shot to have one of those dramatic tight series. And we're getting echoes of those great series here in the first two games this year.
Well, if you send him, Ausmus has to be careful not swinging a bad pitch.
He bunts it in the air, and Leyritz can't handle the ball. Wow. That's just out-and-out luck for the Astros.
Yeah, I have to question that strategy. 3-1. There are a lot of options. You can bunt and run if you want to do something, or you can hit and run. But you can see that the Astros are lucky there that the ball is not caught by Leyritz.
Well, now it's 3-2. And Ausmus with a long look at Cubbage, the third base coach, as he relays signs from the Astros dugout. Gutierrez with an infield hit. The 10th hit of the game for the Astros. He's at first. He's going. No, he bluffed. And the bunt is down. Ausmus fell over backward after dropping that one down. He's an easy out at first. Gutierrez has been moved into scoring position with one away.
Well, he gets the job done with 2 strikes. I mean, if he fouls this ball, he's out. Way up and in, and he does a great job of getting it on the ground.
I mean, consider if he took that pitch, the runner also moved to second, and he goes to first with nobody out. Biggio coming up, and Bochy with the great Astros second baseman coming up. Bochy is going for his great closer, Trevor Hoffman. The possible winning run, a base hit away from scoring. It is 4-4. We'll be right back.
All across.
Trevor Hoffman, 53 saves and 54 chances in the regular season. Got the save, although gave up a run on Tuesday. Now he's trying to save the tie to send it into extra innings. Biggio, Spires, the 2 hitters with 1 out, due up. Biggio, 1 for 3 with a walk today. And you see he had done well against Maselli. No success against Hoffman. There goes Gutierrez, and he easily steals third base.
That was heads-up play, and we talked the other day about how easy it is to steal off of Hoffman. He has this high leg kick. He very rarely stops the runner. Watch, just a high leg kick. One look, high leg kick. And a smart play by Caminetti not to even cover. Because if he's moving and Biggio hits the ball, the game's over.
But now everything changes. The infield and the outfield. Everybody's got to move in. And Bochy out to talk to Hoffman and his entire infield.
Well, smart play by Gutierrez, because I know it wasn't called, because if they were going to steal a base, they'd have tried it before at second base. But a very heads-up play there by Gutierrez. But I'm sure maybe in the scouting report they saw what we saw the other day, and that is that, you know, Hoffman, very slow, high leg kick. You can steal a base off him anytime. You can steal second base, you can steal third base. But it's that way with most closers. Most closers aren't used to holding people on.
And now they're going to walk Biggio intentionally. 1-2.
Well, if you walk Biggio, that means you're going to walk Spires too, and you're going to try to pitch to Bell and try to strike him out. And then you're going to have to pitch to Bagwell, of course.
3. Bell in the hole right now, but all of this may be a prelude to a Bell-Hoffman matchup. The fourth wide one to Biggio. He's the first, and now Spires. Spires has only faced him twice, and Bell has never hit against him.
Well, looking at this, it doesn't appear that they're going to walk Spires.
The shortstop, in fact, is not playing in. Gomez is in halfway. Davey Lopes, who positions the defense, motioning to Tony Gwynn to move in right field. He thought Tony was a little too deep. The outfielders have to be in a spot where they can catch the ball and still keep the guy at third from scoring. Any ball deeper than they're playing now will get the guy home anyway. Remember, just Tuesday, the first game, Spires hit a double past third against Hoffman. There's that changeup. Gutierrez, the possible winning run at third base. And Biggio, after being walked, is at first base.
Well, their decision is they'd rather pitch to Spires and Bell than to pitch to Bell and Bagwell. I mean, that makes some sense.
Well,
yeah.
I'm following him.
Yeah. But I still think you have to load the bases personally.
Set up a force out
anyway, at all bases.
Saved by Hernandez. He saved the game. I said Hernandez. He's been replaced at catcher, as I mentioned earlier, by Greg Myers. I mean, we like to give Hernandez praise.
And he deserves it because on Tuesday he did a good job, except this past ball, but he blocked a lot of pitches.
But in this case, the praise was not due. He's not even in the game. Here's Carlos. 1 ball, 1 strike to Bill Spires. He's had 2 doubles in this game, and he had a double against Hoffman on Tuesday. And he went after that changeup. 1 ball and 2 strikes. They say Hoffman, there's nothing fancy about his changeup. Rick Sutcliffe, who's with the Padres, is both an instructor in the minors and as a broadcaster, said he just holds it back in the palm of his hand, wraps his big hand around it. He called it a freak of nature.
Well, the key to a changeup is your arm speed and the motion. You have to have the same motion on your change as you have on your fastball, and if you hold it back in your hand, it won't come out as quickly.
There it is. Gutierrez scores. The Astros have won the game they had to win. And they're going to San Diego tied at 1. the script that they were hoping for, with Billy Wagner to just wrap it up. Jim Leyritz, the stunning 2-run pinch hit homer to tie it, and then an infield single by Gutierrez that turns into the winning run. Bunted to second, he stole third, and then Spires, he decided to pitch to him, Joe, and Spires did it again to Hoffman.
Well, it's a changeup again. There it is, a changeup, but by now Spires is looking for one, and he flips it into right field for a base hit in front of Tony Gwynn. Nothing Gwynn could do here. And the winning run scores as Gutierrez comes in, but you have to give Gutierrez all the credit there for stealing third base. That was the key to this inning, and Spires putting the ball in play. As you see, knows that the game is being won as he is touching first base.
His third hit of the game, and he is 2 for 2 against the great closer Hoffman in this series. So the Astros win the one that was a must-win for them, and now they're heading to San Diego, tied at 1. Stay tuned now. SportsCenter is coming up next. Tonight, Game 2 in Atlanta, the Cubs and the Braves. John Miller, Joe Morgan from the Astrodome. Thanks for tuning in. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.